What's up, everybody? This is Cam Wade, and this is Commercial Roofing Radio. You have found us today, and I've got a great guest today with Dezigns Constructions, Inc., my buddy Dominick, calling Dom. Last name, let me see if I can get this right. Giuffrida.
That was really good.
Is that good?
That was most people cannot even come close to pronouncing it.
well, I practiced a little bit beforehand. Let me see if I
for those Italians in the room, it's Giuffrida, but that was perfect. That was perfect, right on the beat there. You said it out. You pronounced it perfectly. So,
good deal. Well, Bud, I appreciate you coming on here. And for all of you here, please excuse any technical. Like, I'm getting some weird fuzziness, but still working out the kinks of this new studio, which is fun for me, but it's also a real pain in the butt. But let's dive on in, man.
Awesome.
We got to meet not too long ago. Where were we? Were we in Florida?
Florida.
Yeah, was that RoofCon? God.
Yep. It was roofing progress or
roofing process. Yeah. That was cool. We had a lot of fun there. I'm glad we got to meet there. And just like every other show I go to, I meet some of what end up being some of my favorite people. We instantly, and of course I can't tell the story of how our conversation started, because I guess you have to know us that we're two big idiots, and when two idiots collide, had some hilarity. So that was fun.
And roofing.
Yeah, and roofing. Find some. There's tons of humor in roofing. Holy shit!
Love it.
But anyway, what this show is about is highlighting folks within our industry, not just roofing, but more importantly, commercial roofing. I feel like it's always the big questions, how do we get into commercial roofing if, you started out in residential, or if someone's just wanting to specialize. So we like to talk about all things commercial roofing, whether it's the insurance side, the building side, products, going green, all of that. And so there's some of the things we want to talk about today, which it looks like I got you clipping in and out, but it's all good. We'll make it work. With that being said, you guys are... Get this right. All of Florida, New Jersey, Virginia, and where else are you guys?
Maryland.
That's right.
We'll do New York, Connecticut, Chicago, Illinois. And that we also had an office in Puerto Rico.
Wow, that's cool.
And we basically we will take care of the entire East Coast out and move as far west as strategically possible. Our business predominantly focused the Northeast tri-state area historically and in Puerto Rico, but we decided to make a jump into Florida. And we just kicked it off this year down there. We just finished our first job down there, and it was great.
Awesome. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that transition into Florida, especially in a time where there's been so many changes, just after Hurricane Ian, that have made it really challenging, for any roofer to operate consistently. How are you guys finding your success and your footing in because it's such a different environment, if I'm correct, from what you guys are probably used to working in?
Yeah. The strategies, first of all, we had to do our due diligence and learn, hey, what's the scene down here in Florida, because you can hear a lot of different stories from all different people. You hear it good, bad, and you have to take all that information in and figure out, okay, what's really going on, because everybody has a different business style and a different approach. For us, because we've been in the industry so long, and we're a pretty big player in the industry, we had a lot of experience with understanding, hey, how does the operations roll out? We have an incredible operations team. Our director of operations is extremely knowledgeable, and we have that right blend where it's we get the big idea, and then how do we take those steps to get to it? Mm-hmm. So with Florida, we leverage a little bit our relationships with suppliers. and manufacturers.
Mhm.
They were very they like to work with us, and so that was extremely beneficial to us. Um, and basically, we're just not going to bite off more than we can chew.
Mhm.
That's to in layman's terms, that's our essential strategy. Is when we want to under promise and over deliver. So when we take baby steps, little by
Mhm.
little, getting in. Okay, here's a job. Let's lock that down. How did that go? Let's recap. What did we have? Where did we have any mess ups? Did we have any issues? And we kind of put all of that together to figure out, how can we best operate in Florida.
Mhm.
So far, there's like supplier, delivery times that varied. Like we had materials show up a day late to one of our sites. So that was something. But
Mhm.
that's really the worst thing we've seen so far, knock on wood. So we've been extremely lucky, I think, because I've heard a lot of horror stories from people too. But we've just kind of kept our heads straight. Because we're in the commercial market, it's a
Mhm.
little bit of a slower pace. So it's not like residential, boom, 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 tons of volume. We're just kind of take your time, get your footing, and make sure you execute excellence in whatever you're doing. So
Yeah, for sure. And I see that, just dancing around on y'all's website and different social media outlets like Instagram and even your LinkedIn, and just seeing, man, some of the project or almost all your projects you guys are on are some really big, really dangerous and complex builds where you're up high on skyscrapers in the middle of downtown somewhere, and there's so many considerations that are involved in such a dynamic build. So yeah, definitely it's a different world right there. You definitely slow is smooth and smooth is fast, making sure, like you said, not making mistakes and making sure you're not making mistakes with your growth. And with you are, correct me if I'm wrong, you were the sales and marketing director. Is that right?
yes,
So
yes.
and it's one thing I've noticed a lot just in my experience and in other friends' experience. We go to all these different shows and stuff, and of course, different expo shows, trade shows. Some people love them, some people hate them, some people want to talk crap about them. I love them. I find so much value uh, in them. But it's funny because and there's always that drama that roof, you know, it's like Hollywood, but for roofers, where there's just a lot of drama, a lot of people that worrying about crap that you shouldn't be worrying about, and you usually don't even hear about the biggest players, the real big players, like say in commercial roofing, because they're too damn busy doing what their job is, and that's building big, complex roofs um, in tight situations. And then it takes, but also you see some of these much larger, you know, entities in the roofing world that again they don't pay no attention to the noise that's going on. They're just doing their job, but also to grow and elevate in this new world with social media and whatnot. Now you're starting to see like that, you know, that switch over towards like we've been professionals, we're the best at what we do, but we do need to come into the real world and people need to know who we are and what we do. um and it is excellence, and that's what I just noticed is going through y'all stuff is, man, every one of your jobs looks like if you mess up, it's a bad day and someone could either die or you're getting sued and losing everything. um Tell me, like, how do you guys go after and get these big old jobs? I'm sure that's one question that some other young, I mean, because you're a pretty young cat. How old are you?
I'm 30 now,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome,
went fast.
dude.
I felt like I turned 21 yesterday. So,
I feel you. Well, I thought you were gonna say like 25, but because
I,
you look really
thank
young.
you, thank you.
That's a good thing. You
I
can't
got I got a couple grays rolling in already.
look at
Uh,
mine, dude. They're all shining. I wanted to get 4K on this video, but it's the worst thing
yeah,
because you just start
zoom
looking at yourself and you're just like, God, I'm just getting old and leathery and gray.
in.
Um,
Every day I wake up, I look at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, what is happening to me? So,
yeah, that's why I just don't even
um,
own mirrors. So back into it.
yeah.
With what have, where were you before? Because I saw some stuff within LinkedIn that we share some things that we're interested in, and green energy infrastructures is something
Yes,
I
sir.
saw. Tell me more about your passion for that and how that coincides with what you are doing now.
Okay, yeah. So that question, and then you had asked a question before about where do we bring in our business and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with the most recent question that you were just saying, like the background and stuff. And thanks. That's a great way that we connected to, and I love that you're into green. And thank you to anyone else who's focusing on what's going on in the green energy industry. There's a lot of misguided information that's going around, and people are kind of, confused about all of that. My expertise was in hydrogen energy and infrastructure. I had a crazy like getting into like where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I went to college for science. I was trying to be a doctor. It didn't pan out for me. I got a horrible concussion my senior year. It was like God had other plans, and it was a little bit horrible. I got jumped. So
By a
very,
bunch of
very
other med students or some shit or what?
no, they
They
were a
hit you with your
bunch of local.
stethoscopes. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they hit me with their stethoscopes. That's where I first learned to be tough. Yeah, I had to take a year off, and it was just some local kids at my college university my senior year, and it just rocked me to the core. I mean, I could barely even talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have a little bit of an issue with like slurring my speech here and there. Um, so, but regardless, so I got through that. Came out of college. I did change my degree. I ended up having to study 2.5 more years. So basically, I have a master's degree in biology. And I came out of college, and a lot of in the roofing industry, we talk about entrepreneurship and the capabilities of stuff. When I got into the biological field, I was looking for jobs to start, and it was like 24K to go count fish in Alaska on a boat, and I was like, ugh, I just I feel like I have way too much debt to be able to just start with that. I think I'll be homeless counting fish, while making money somehow. So I was working a job. I was managing a restaurant, finishing up college and stuff, making more money, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna keep looking, see what happens. Clients of mine that I connected with got me into finance. I got into finance. I got licensed. I was selling life insurance, annuities, and I was studying for investments. Um, and I started to learn a little bit more about like finance and how that ties into science and the environment and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And from there, it wasn't uh, it wasn't working for me. I felt like I wasn't doing what I could be doing, as far as helping the planet, helping the world out. I've always had that intention. I always want to help people. I helped run a homeless shelter up in my hometown, Norristown, Pennsylvania, now. And so after I got into finance, I left finance and I got into my science roots. I dove back in. I scoured the web. I was looking for, how can I help like save the planet? How can I help, you know, improve health on the planet? Create a better world for future generations. Everybody knows today we're suffering from pollution more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I apprenticed this guy named Mike Strisky, and I blew him up. I texted him and called him until he answered his phone. And I said, I'm going to come work for you for free. And he ran this very prestigious nonprofit. And I came in and I just said, I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to work for you and learn as much as I can. I worked for him for about 3 years. I learned everything that he knew, how to build hydrogen, how to basically build a building or a home that ran on water, essentially, which is really, really cool. There is a lot of turmoil. This is going to get juicy here. Is it okay if we get a little juicy on
Oh,
it?
hell yeah. We can get real juicy, bro.
Okay.
This is my show now.
We're a little outside of roofing, but we'll bring it back in, I swear. So in our finance world, political world, you have lobbyists, you have big corporations that basically control everything. And they run on investment strategies for 20, 30, 50-year plans that they expect a return on their investments for. There are smaller, shorter ones, but the bigger guys, they have their long-term holds as well. And they get greedy. And they don't really like the idea of people being able to create essentially their own fuel, pretend it's oil or gas, for free from their yard, from the sky, from the ground. If you have a well,
Yeah,
they
people
didn't.
end up dead, don't they? Like the guy that
Yes,
invented the hydrogen, like, vehicle or whatever, he's goner.
quite a few dead people that I you and it's no la it's I'm laughing because it's like nervously I'm like
Yeah,
okay.
I know, right?
But I spent a long time fighting in that industry, making connections, networking. I did some really cool stuff with it, and I kept getting screwed over in every single like business deal. And um, it's getting to a point now with the green sector, especially with hydrogen.
Hmm.
Um, it's gotten so big that it's almost unstoppable now. So it's going to be coming. Enough people died for it,
Mm.
and Elon Musk, watch out. He does battery electric vehicles, and there's a way better electric vehicle, a hydrogen vehicle. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
I think didn't Japan or someone put out a like their new hydrogen vehicles are supposed to be just crushing the
yep,
battery powered,
yep,
which I'm just I'm all for solar, I'm all for all of that, but I still think there's a huge misconception with how do we get that battery power? There's still a lot of slave workers and working with their bare hands in those cobalt mines and lithium mines. It's crazy. Yeah, we could
yep.
go all day in that. And luckily, not a million people follow this show like Joe Rogan or something like that. So we don't have to worry, I don't think, too much about some people offing us for our hydrogen love. But and how does that coincide? Because I'm huge with green. I like when I was a roofer, I like choosing products that were really, pushing towards that green revolution of doing what we can to keep as much out of the trash piles, out of our rivers, out of our lakes, all of our waterways, our oceans. I'm a fisherman, I'm an outdoorsman, and I see that shit out in nature, and it's just disgusting. It ruins the whole vibe, the feel. And being in the building and the construction world, we're huge proponents to that. Going in and you know, yeah, we can go in and get complete roof systems bought and paid for by the insurance. Um, but I do ripping those off and every dang day and throwing them in the garbage heaps. That's a lot of waste. That's a lot of stuff that we definitely. It's great to see there's businesses and manufacturers that still do care about our environment and are pushing those products. What I see you guys use y'all a lot of GAF TPO, right? And
Yep, yep.
some
A lot of TPO.
Carlisle. Y'all use some of that, right? What other
Mm-hmm.
what other
So
products are you guys using that are geared more towards you know going green, being less landfill producers and um, yeah, let's talk about that.
sure, there's so if usually talk about going green. There's EPDM,
Hmm.
rubber, recyclable. That's usually people's first thought. There is another level to like sustainability. Is how long is the resource cycle and what does that mean? So like you do an EPDM roof and say it lasts 20 years and you're replacing it. It's going to go through a recycling process and things like that. Through that whole process, there's emissions and things like that. People don't really like think about, and the acquisition of rubber itself. There's a lot of greenhouse gases that are emitted through that whole process. It is recyclable, which is great. But recycling is not a very environmentally friendly thing if you actually understand how recycling
Hmm.
works. Um, so another product, we like TPO a lot too because of how long it lasts. We're also able to maintain it as a product, um, and metal roofing too, similarly. So we're CMPs with GAF, so we actually we can offer extended warranties. You can get sometimes over a 30-year warranty on a roofing system. So you go from 20 years to 30 years. You had a huge increase in the longevity of the project or the product. Now your resource cycle spread out a little longer. Um, so the efficiency of our installs, the way we like to do stuff, we are always keeping our eyes on that. How many trucks are we sending? How much product? How much waste are we using? We're pretty good at like keeping our waste down to a minimum. What are we doing with how are we disposing of our waste? What is our, a lot of guys you see out there, they're like, you see dust like blowing through the air, around them. And we've come up with some interesting, ways just of consolidating and moving material off, because we're doing high rises and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, moving it off. You can use chutes and stuff like that there, or we use a hoist with we'll put in a pan, to like a dumpster pan, to lift it up and down, and we just make sure that like everything that we do is like we're tracking, we're keeping an eye on, we're not leaving wreckage in our way. Of course we operate in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's burning dinosaurs here. And you can only really utilize what's available on the market, especially commercially.
Mm-hmm.
We do custom makes, like we made like our hoist dumpster bucket. We actually made that
I was
ourselves
gonna
in
say you
house.
guys have like awesome plasma machines in your shops, don't you?
Yeah,
Plasma
yeah,
cutters. I was watching videos like, God, these guys have some cool shit. I want to go. I want to go play.
yeah. You're more than welcome to come play anytime.
Because I
One of
would
our
think
guys.
you guys build a ton of custom pans and whatnot, working up so high. Those things probably don't get worked on so much, and were probably custom one-offs when they were done.
Yep.
Yeah, I can imagine you got to have your own shop
Mhm.
to just build it yourself on site. Uh,
Yep. In-house fabrication of products, for that, it really reduces to like, let's say you need gutters. You
hmm
got to call, and you're, somebody that doesn't make gutters. You have to have that material shipped to somebody who will fabricate it. Then from there, shipped to you. So you have an extra step in the process. We bring our all sheet metal here, fabricate here. So that's a huge reduction right there. We're not perfect. It's very hard to get eco efficiency in construction, but
hmm
little tiny shifts make a big difference over the years, over millions of square feet. You're talking huge differences. Even 1% over per square foot over millions of square feet is a drastic shift. From what your competitors and what other people are doing. So
Yeah.
um, that's how we handle it. We're getting more into. I've been kind of pushing us more into like the metal process of stuff, but that's little by little. It doesn't always. It's not the right application always. You can't always
Sure.
do a metal roof on
On
structures.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice, but it's not always in people's budgets, and it's not always the right thing that you need, because of they might be using certain things on site or whatever that would change
hmm
and affect that scenario.
And you guys
Um,
too, with just again buzzing through. You guys are huge problem solvers. It looks like you guys working with like a big high rise that calls and complains that they've got huge leaks going on. You go up there and find out that basically HVAC guy had probably left a screw and stepped on it and it punctured. You guys were able to get there and fix it up and just do a couple good TPO patches and be on with it. You guys offer a maintenance repair program that you guys are consistently on site with these large buildings, gathering that historical data and just making sure that's something you guys offer.
yes, yes. So that's we take the approach to roofing that it is an investment in commercial roofing.
hmm
10% of a new building, of constructing a new building, goes towards the roof, and then 90% of the cost of maintaining that building is associated with your roof. So when we go into a deal with a client, it's almost like we're their like investment advisor. We're coming in, okay, you're going to spend $1 million on this. How long? What's this going to look like over a 30-year time horizon for you and your company and your investment? You know, are we going to come in and there's going to be leaks every day that are popping up because we used a subpar product, that we used a thinner material when we should have used a thicker material? How does that balance out in the long term? So we value engineer everything,
Yeah.
custom design everything, and when we sell a roof, we offer them. We usually come out and we'll service it for the first few years, just keeping an eye on it. And we offer those service packages. We run service. It's not the biggest part of our structure here, because of like the financially, because the new roofs, but it is the backbone of our business, and we often win new clients because of the service that we offer. We'll get called in for a problem that they thought another roofer said you got to put a whole new roof on, like you're saying HVAC screw,
Yeah.
you know. And we were talking about efficiency. You know, imagine how inefficient it would be to have a leak caused by this small little thing that could have been patched, and you put a whole new roof on a building. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so that's kind of like how we do it, and the way we get into it. You know, quality first, service first, customer first, always, and just making sure that we keep executing excellence with what we're doing.
Yeah, and making sure I think it's important. I think so many guys step over, so many opportunities because they don't want to slow down and be just a real problem solver. They want to just swing for the fences every single time. Everything's got
Yep.
to be a re-roof. Um, I have, I get mad at a lot of guys, and I have to, communicate with them that look, you're setting these people up for failure, especially on commercial buildings where the biggest like challenge you're going to have usually on a large building, let's say if you're doing an insurance claim, is the history of that building, the history,
Yep.
the maintenance records, the claim history. So many guys just go in there, get just if they get on the roof, that's like their biggest victory because they can then go, oh, yep, you need a new roof. This was, and then they'll call me and say, hey, will you help me with this claim? I'm like, well, dude, what's your data loss? And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, you had them file the freaking claim and you don't even know what the data a data loss is, or do they even have coverage? Instead
Wow.
of being a problem solver, and just giving a solution to a challenge that they may have that's going to help them right then and there. Like I'm sure you guys experience is that harbors really trustworthy customer experience to where when it does happen, when the full replacement needs to happen, well, of course you guys are going to be the go-to because you provide a consistent, honest service. Those master service agreements and plans are, I think, something that a lot of people are missing the boat on. And like
Yep.
you said, it may not be the biggest part of your business, but it definitely should be a part of it, a piece of your backbone, as you said. Um, because again, if you're just looking at the dollar figure and just trying to, I think, knock grand slams, which I'm all for having big targets and going after them, and executing them. Um,
Hmm.
but of course, I find, and I can just tell by y'all's execution that the customer experience is what's important to you, and it always leads to when you're worrying about what's in their best interest, that policy holder or that building owner or property manager, what's in their best interest, because at the end of the day, you follow that breadcrumbs, you're going to lead it to what's good for everybody. um,
Yep.
what are some of your favorite takeaways so far, you know now that you're in this industry, and it's different from the world that you started in with biology, with I mean, it's crazy, and that's what I love about this industry is it takes all kinds, and
Yeah.
and you can have a very well oiled plan, or at least think you do, and then you trip over roofing and like, oh shit, wake up 20 years later, and here we are still doing it. And that's what I love about it. But what's one of your
Yep.
favorite takeaways since you've been in this industry?
You sort of hit like all the ones. I was gonna say the I kind of look at it as like the was that Avengers movie where they end up on the, was it Thor maybe, where they end up on that planet where everybody ends up at in the universe at the end or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, that might be a bad, but like, it's a collective of all these different people with these incredibly complex backgrounds that you just like never expected. There's
Mhm.
there's lawyers, like Wall Street people. There's like tech guys, that software. There's so many different people. Of course, there's your roofers. They've been roofing since they were 1 years old, and they're just like,
Yeah.
all right, you know. And I think it all kind of works like beautifully because of that. Like it's collecting experts in all different fields,
Hmm.
and you put that together and you kind of end up creating this like magnificent matrix of hey, let's build a team, let's see what we can do. And when you're talking about commercial roofing with these big jobs, if you mechanize even just doing 10 $1 million projects a year, it's just it's an incredible business to be running for yourself. So the capability to just grow and expand on that is insane to me,
Mhm.
because that's one of my favorite takes coming out of like the finance and the hydrogen world. I was even looking at getting into real estate. I was studying for the real estate license up here in Pennsylvania area. We're in Jersey. I'm in
Mhm.
Jersey now. Pennsylvania's right right across the river over there. But it's the incredible financial like business model that goes with roofing in the commercial industry,
Mhm.
even in residential roofing. Um, it's an incredible, well, like you said, like a well-oiled machine once you get things put together. And I think that ability to have a creative space for entrepreneurs, for corporations, for businesses, the ability to go like, hey, like, let's try something new.
Mhm.
Let's see what it does for the business. It's less likely to happen in all those other sectors. If I'm doing a life insurance policy and I'm like, let's make a new life insurance, they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, get lost, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
If here it's like, hey, let's try putting, wrapping over like this thing over here. Let's see if we can reduce costs on a project and transfer that to the client, and let's see if we can earn more clients because of that. And it's like, oh wow, we just got 10 more huge projects because of one small alteration we made.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that that's really my favorite takeaway. Um, and there's just incredible people in the industry. I mean, it's you see like we were talking about like little drama and the Hollywood stuff earlier. Um, it's just rich, to see,
Yeah.
to see. I'm I'm a very get along, go along kind of a guy, and so I don't like mind. I don't like to be involved in any drama,
Mhm.
but it's all those people all the same. They're not necessarily horrible people either. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like it's just like, okay, all right. It's almost like a an entertaining industry to be in.
Well,
I'll say that.
I think it too. It's like everything just gets so highlighted and hyped up because of social media. There aren't. I don't think there are as many douchebag roofers as Facebook and whatever make it out to be. I, people's in their mind, I think everyone in the roofing industry drives big old trucks and wears affliction shirts, and
Yeah.
you know, but that's not it. I mean, that's a very very small portion of people. I love our industry, and I love getting to meet people like you and getting to learn so much because back you know the education, the people having the ability or even wanting to share with much younger people, because there's a lot of industries where it's like it's a good old boy situation, and for the longest time you weren't getting people that were wanting to hand down that information because it was threatening. If you had all the info, all the tools, and you're only one winning, there's a lot of people that are fine with that. But however, I have found in our industry there are more people that are just about the abundance mindset and want to share more and more. So tell me a little bit about going from the finance, the biology, the green initiative. How did your education, like where did you go to get to delve into, commercial roofing materials, building, sales process with that, um, marketing, all of that. How did you get educated in that, and how's it been going, and how do you feel about your your knowledge of commercial products and what's out there to learn?
Of learning every day. I am never going to learn everything that there is to learn. That's another awesome takeaway from this industry is just it changes every day. Very scientific. There's always a new update, new material study, something going on. As far as like how did the education play into it? Um, the entrepreneurship when I got into finance initially, the social skills when I worked in a restaurant,
Hmm.
the engineering when I got into the green energy stuff. I was working, with civil engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, material scientists, architects, you know, any scientists, I forget the names of what they did, but
You
so
just call him
working and learning.
scientist. Hey, Mr.
Yeah,
Scientist.
those guys. Yeah, and so I'm working with them, and learning, how different materials react, different, hey, like nuances that would happen, tricks of the trade, things like that. And then with that hydrogen stuff, I was their director of business development at the same time. I kind of was a chief chef cook and bottle washer. Or, I'm sorry, chief cook and bottle washer over there. I did everything. I was out on job sites working on building arrays, solar arrays. I was out. I was in putting together a fuel cell electrolyzer system, um, or calibrating something or whatever. So the science from when I went to school, I finally got to apply in that field,
Mm-hmm.
which was great. And then there's the business side of it, and then the social media side of it. So the social media side of it, that's when I first started getting into the marketing game with hydrogen. Um, and I helped launch a YouTube channel that was pretty successful. We had this great company that people, from all around the world were trying to interview every day. So it was just, it was like I'm meeting like Arnold Schwarzenegger or a billionaire from Russia or the lead scientist from Australia who's coming to learn about hydrogen to save Australia, or talking to the CEO of BP and Exxon, teaching them about hydrogen, or like um, the social media side of that, and having to be able to display and showcase that excellence rather than, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, keeping it all in house, keeping it close to the chest. That was something I noticed in that industry too. Um, and then when I left that industry, um, and got into this, it all just plugged right in. And it was incredible for me
Awesome.
because it was the social media, like you said, the marketing side of it, the science side of it, the financial side of it, um, the business side of it, and the actual social side, like meeting and talking with people.
Yeah,
Because
which you're great at.
what is good is working so hard if you're not enjoying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that you have a lot of fun doing what you do. You can see it on your face and all your videos, and just even like when we got to meet and end up spending the rest of the time together. Um, and it's just cool because it's rare, a lot of people that are, like better terms, nerds. You're a nerd, and I like that, but you're also a very articulate and outgoing nerd. And so those
Thanks.
those things that come together, if you can, harness that magic, boy, there's nothing you can't do. So I think that's really cool. You guys also use some other really cool materials like Rhino Bond, right?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
something that that's a roof system I never got to experience and actually put on myself when I was in roofing myself. Um, but it is really cool. What using magnets, right?
Yep.
To weld
Induction.
basically.
Yep, yep. I was seeing if I've got all these brochures and stuff. Let me see if I have one to show you.
What was Arnold wanting to know about hydrogen? He was like, hydrogen, all of the bubbles.
This is actually really funny. There's it was hilarious to me because he has his accent. He had a buddy named Gene who connected him to the hydrogen industry.
Mhm.
In California, when he was governor, they built an entire hydrogen highway of refueling stations all the way up and down the state,
Wow.
because that's one of the biggest holdbacks with getting hydrogen vehicles is refueling. Very similar to electric cars, or hydrogen vehicles are electric. Very similar to battery electric cars. Um, I couldn't find the thing, but anyway, so Gene, he would call him Hydro Gene, and I just thought it was so funny because of the
Hydrogen.
accent. Hydro Gene.
Hydrogen.
Let me see here.
Golly,
Uh, I
Billy.
had it. I literally just had it like a second ago. I don't know what I did with it. I got piles of stuff here.
I love
Here.
Arnold. I lived in California back in 2005 and
Yep.
6. And that's when Arnold was the governor. And I remember getting a phone call from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Of course, it was a recording. but I thought it was pretty kick-ass. He's like, "Hello, this is your governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Please vote yes, Proposition 492." I'm like, "Oh, this is freaking cool." Arnold, I ain't voting for shit, but yeah, this is cool. Call me
Take
again.
John Connor.
Yeah, yeah.
Vote out.
I'll be back.
It's like, I'll do whatever you say, Arnold, as long as you say it.
That's awesome.
That is an incredible impression of him, by the way. I don't think I've ever heard a better one.
Bo,
So.
I appreciate that. It's gotten me places, man. When I was in the Army, it got me out of a lot of trouble. I had drill sergeants that really, really loved Arnold. And of course, they made me respond and communicate as if I was Arnold. So, yeah, drill sergeant, yes, drill sergeant, doing push-ups and everything. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So thank you. I love Arnold to death.
Humor is a great way to stay out of trouble a lot of times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's also what got me in a lot of trouble. Humor. It's because it's the best way to, usually get out of problems. But then when you go too far, which I always did,
Me too.
A lot of trouble.
Here, I got the Rhino bond system.
Oh, sweet.
Like, brochure if anybody's going to be seeing this later.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they basically the Rhino. Did you want me to explain it or?
Yeah, please do, man.
Okay. Yeah. So with the Rhino bond system, it's like kind of the best of both worlds, where you have a mechanically attached and fully adhered system, and it's also extremely cost efficient too, because you're reducing the amount of material that you need to do a job, as far as like adhesives and tapes and things like that. It is a lot of, like, we just did a Rhino bond down in Florida. We like that a lot because of the wind ratings for it. The building that we did, they had a I believe it was fully adhered, and it tore up over time. Wind gets under it, ripples pushes up on it, and you have breakaways. So we think that Rhino bond, because it actually welds to the membrane, so you have typically with a TPO membrane, you have this material here that you would heat up with a heat gun, and it melts and then reforms together, just like you would like welding metal, as one continuous membrane. So you're basically turning two sheets into one sheet by welding them together. So that's a great thing to have. Now, when you have the Rhino bond system underneath of it, you're combining and welding together the membrane here to the mechanically attached fasteners that are screwed into the roofing deck below. Is
the Rhino bond, do they have their own TPO products that you have to utilize with the plates, or can you use, let's say, a GAF TPO roll with the Rhino bond plates? And
so to my understanding, so like I said, I'm learning every day.
Yeah, man.
But typically what it is you'll get the TPO rolls, and you have special plates that are built to weld to that TPO. So is usually we use GAF for the Rhino bond systems, and I haven't seen us use other suppliers' Rhino bond systems. GAF is it's one of the biggest manufacturers that we use. But I don't think you can mix and match, and I don't ever think it's really best to do that in any scenario, just because when you're like, even with like stuff like shingles, they say like each batch is different.
Sure.
So so when you're working with like different TPOs and from different manufacturers, and it's always best to be as unified as possible with what you're ordering. If you're doing it. But to my understanding, it's just your standard issue TPO that you would be welding down seam to seam. But instead of that, you have the Rhino bond plate that welds to it underneath. So, that's my in-depth understanding of this system. And you use these magnets, induction heating, you run a current through to heat the plate up.
That's cool. Science.
to get the weld to happen. So no hot air, and it's actually a really quick system to install if you get the labor right on it. So it's
That's
cool.
cool.
I like it a lot. I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning every day more and more about it. There's this industry is there's so much to learn.
Are you seeing
Um,
anything else that's like super cool coming out, like commercial roofing material wise, that might be, um, a little state of the art, if you will? Is there anything?
yeah. So we just saw today. I just heard about it. It was like a roofing panel system that supposedly is like it's the insulation and the membrane together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a structural piece, then you just kind of like Lego block them together. We've never done it yet, and we just decided we're gonna like take a peek and see what's going on with that. But we just heard about that
That's
literally
cool.
this morning, so that was a pretty cool one. Um, they have different, they say state of the art, other different like systems, like coding systems and
Yeah, I've been
things like that.
seeing a lot of the nano, they talk about nanotechnology with the different coatings, the different, I see a lot of the composition shingle treatments that you can spray on there. And I've seen
Yep.
a couple of, I think they had them out there, um, that roofing process where they were doing a compare and contrast to untreated roof to a treated roof system and how they can actually help against hail damage possibly. Um,
Yep.
that, I'm still, when I think of nanobots, I think of like Tony Stark and like just building a suit of armor. So when
Yep.
um, I'm still not, I still want to know more about nanotechnology. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool because I know they use that different nanotechnology with coatings, especially in hospitals. Um, low, have they coat everything. You can't even tell, but it's supposed to make it, uh, bacterias don't cling to it. It's supposed to be really, I guess, good, easy to clean and don't absorb. I think a lot of, of other harmful stuff.
Yep.
VOCs are low and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's always also to that new cloud particle or whatever. It's like the lightest material on Earth. It looks like a little cloud that you're holding. I'll have to send you something on it. It's pretty neat.
I got to see that.
Yeah, I
Is
wish
that
I
from?
wish I had a producer or someone go, hey Jamie, you pull that up, and then it pops up on screen. One day, one day, yeah, hey Jamie, pull that up. Someone just
Come on,
pop.
Jamie.
Yeah, I don't have a Jamie yet.
Now.
My
Do
son's
it
asleep in
now.
the next room. It's my producer, soon to be. Yeah, my 16-year-old boy, he's getting into the industry, working with us.
Oh,
But
nice.
he's been
That's a
on
great place to start.
yeah, he's been on roofs since he was able to walk. So this has been our industry for his entire life, pretty much. I think I took 1 year off and got into digital. Well, it was actually reputation management, brand, brand development and whatnot. But I couldn't stay away from the industry. I love this industry, and of course, like anything else, there's bad apples. There's big ass challenges that are really hard to get over. Insurance companies being one of those right now are really making it really hard for policyholders to get what they are owed. And I've seen it on large commercial projects, especially too.
Hmm.
You guys working a lot in the Virginia, PA world, like you guys do get some storms from time to time, right? Some
Yeah.
hailstorms and every once in a blue moon in Jersey, right? But most of you work mainly was it retail, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Mainly, almost entirely retail.
Which I think it's so smart for any roofing sales expert or from beginning to end to understand the retail model and being able to uh, create an estimate on your own and sell somebody a job on retail. I think that makes really hell of a good salesman and saleswoman if you can sell retail and then apply that into the insurance world as well. Um,
Yep.
you can do a lot of things. What are the differences? Have you guys had to you just finished your first project in Florida, right?
Yeah,
Was that an insurance job?
it was. We were more or less involved from the stage of send us the check.
I gotcha.
so,
Yeah, that's a fun
so
place to be.
yeah, um, they already had all of their adjusting and claim process finished,
Hmm.
and basically what they were doing was then looking at different commercial roofing bids to pick the best best bid for them, which we ended up being. So it's we that's kind of usually how we'll interact on the insurance side,
Hmm.
and it's one of those things where once we like you were saying, once you understand the retail model, it's a lot easier to dive into the insurance model.
Hmm.
I think it's harder to go from the insurance model to the retail model.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah
I see that a lot too. You have a lot of guys, I think, where, doesn't matter if it's residential or commercial, but that are so just used to the waiting, just waiting for the insurance to provide a scope. Why? Right, you're
yeah
the expert. Write your fucking estimate and give it to them. The
yeah
insurance, give it to them. Do their work
yeah
for them. Why are you going to wait for them? Well, I
yeah
need to know how much they're going to pay. Why are you waiting for them to tell you? You're the expert, right? Or are
yeah
you not? Um, so yeah, so I think it's so huge. I do see that
a
when
lot of fake gurus out there.
yeah.
So,
Well, the ones that just I think too when you've come from the world of retail, this is my number and this is how I got to that number. This is it. You can either take it or kick rocks. Are we
yeah,
comparing apples to apples or what do you want? And um, when you can, I think, stand your ground and be like that for me, like selling with um, like true and utter, like not just commitment, but like this is the way, and it is, I think when you have that much conviction, that's what I was getting. Conviction, you can pretty much do anything. And when you believe
absolutely.
in your process, your prices, your product, then you can stand behind it and say, this is the gig. And if you want anything, any lower price, well, we're going to start taking some things away. And
Yep.
so I think that's a great way to start. And because you guys eventually will be getting into more insurance gigs, with Florida, because there will be storms again. And regardless of how hard it's going to be to work in Florida with the insurance and how, they've tied our hands as much as possible right now, they're still going to need work. They're still, you're still going to need to navigate through that process. And it looks like and sounds like you guys got great relationships and are doing it the right way and not just taking every job that you can get. I liked, hearing that you guys take it slow and you're not just biting off more than you can chew. Because I think that's a lot of where people get themselves in trouble is not being able to say no, saying yes, and not really having an idea of how they're going to accomplish it, build it,
Yep.
finance it, whatever, setting the correct expectations. All of that plays a huge part in a successful, claim, regardless if it's Florida or not. Um,
Yep.
what are you looking forward to mostly this year?
I'm really looking forward to seeing how our marketing strategy, our SEO, and our operations continues to expand and grow out.
Mhm.
Um, we've obtained a ton of new sales reps
I saw
within the
that.
past 6 months, and we're going to keep upping our content, and we want to become an educator in the industry. Um, Without giving away, our secret sauce, what makes our company different and special. But we do want to help pave the way to educate the consumer and the
Hmm.
roofer on materials, product, practices, things like that. Because if no one knows how to do the job right anymore, it's going to be really bad for a lot of people that work inside of buildings in America.
Yeah.
Because that's your first line of defense against anything is your roof. So if you have subpart, it's not only dangerous, but it destroys everything. I mean, imagine having a brand new building and they finish the roof and the guy can't figure out how to get a leak to stop or where it came from
Hmm.
or what material was the right material because you have certain chemicals on the property or whatever. Um, or light exposure at certain times, so what not to use or how to maintain stuff. um,
You said
so that
said something earlier too. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm
mhm.
ADD and I had this thing pop through my head.
Me too.
But
I'm like over here wiggling. I'm
yeah,
like
which I almost lost it. um, is your relationships with your suppliers. I think that's very important. I want to circle back to that
sure.
because I also witness and see the success. What difference of success different people have because of their relationships and how they use those relationships, whether it be get obtaining jobs because they know if you have a great relationship, you can actually get a lot of jobs from your supplier. There's a lot of benefits from having great relationships and having that buying power, that purchasing power, and just being a company that can execute and do what they say. Do you guys, with that being said, do y'all utilize the suppliers for education, for bringing them in, or do you guys go to their facilities and do the training?
Yeah, we're they're either sending someone here with an update on something, or we're gonna go to a thing with them, and yeah, so we're close in touch with them. We have reps with the different suppliers too that we work with, so we're on the phone with, and they're giving us everything that they know. So you put in that time to communicate, just like we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Just you put in the time, you communicate, and you spread a little bit of wisdom or knowledge or something new that you found. And that's really like the base essence of those relationships that we build is how can we make each other better and work together and help one another and
Right
have
on.
a good time doing it. um, so yeah, we have incredible relationships with them. We're always looking at continuing education or various like roofing school, like they have the roofing insights has the roofer school and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We even use stuff. So as much as we can delve into and educate ourselves on, we do. From the supplier side, if they have something to offer us, we're we're listening.
Yeah,
um, yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's one thing I'm really happy about and seeing is there's more educators out there and good ones. They're not. There, of course, are the fake gurus out there that are just trying to sell you something that just is just regurgitated BS or just is just BS. But there's some
Yep.
great education out there. We've got the Commercial Roofing Academy. I've been through that. That's really cool. I'm going to be visiting them again this year. Um,
Yep.
and then, of course, the Roofing Academy. Um, and then there's the Building Experts Institute. That is something that is really sweet. That if some of your folks, I'll send you a 30-day free trial for anyone over there that wants to use that.
Of
And also, too,
course.
I will always, I don't care if you know they're a sponsor or not. I'm always going to push the educators that educate. Adam Bensman is another great one. Um,
Mhm.
I love him, and his stuff you can do, for anything. For doesn't matter if it's a residential or commercial. Super sweet guy, Cal Spoon, um, the public adjuster boot camp. Doesn't matter if you're a public adjuster or not. I think that is a great school that everyone in the industry should go to. It really helps you understand policy. Duties after the loss, all of that stuff. So I always like to
Yep.
spotlight, all of our educators before we jump off here and make sure before we do jump off, we're about to get into the segment, which is usually my favorite. Hope I don't butcher it, but it's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I got to ask you, I think I got about 6 questions for you, buddy.
Oh gosh,
So,
I'll be sure to
ooh.
make every single one of them wrong.
Well,
So,
they're
if
not,
I'm already
I was really trying to
actors,
I'm working on my on the show on keeping it fun also too. So I'm working on it. It'll get only better. But make sure after all this you guys stay on, for this thing to upload, so you know what I mean? Don't
yeah.
jump off. All right. So we're gonna get to it.
Uh,
First off, I'm gonna say, Dom, thanks, brother, for for joining me on the show. We're gonna have I'm gonna have to have you back on. I'm gonna have to come and visit you guys. I want to go on a job site with y'all and get up on one of them big high rises. I love. Actually, I'm afraid of heights like crazy,
Oh yeah,
but I
me
still
too.
do it. It's just it's my job, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I just got to tell you, brother, they're Designs Construction Inc. are very lucky to have you to be the face of their organization, brother. Meeting you, just a couple months back, we have quickly become fast, brothers, man. That's again another thing I love about this industry. Some of the best men and women I have met, and I call my family, people that I love dearly. You have now been added to that list, and I'm just grateful and thankful that you're here and that I can call you my friend. And I'm happy for you, man.
For you too.
Well, I
Thank you.
appreciate that, man. You
And
make
for
my
this, for bringing me out here on this. I was nervous as heck. So
oh man, you're perfect, dude. I knew you'd kill it, man. You're such a smart guy, and you're just doing cool stuff. And I really love watching y'all's Instagram because I think it's so good for Designs Construction Inc. And I think they know that. That's why they're just like letting you do it. Just go ham on it, and you're having fun with it. It looks good, and you're really getting a spotlight. The cool shit you guys do.
yeah,
I mean, there's a reason why little boys their entire life, and little girls too, uh, love building, Bob the Builder, construction, big machines. That doesn't go away as we get older. It just becomes
yeah,
like, oh, now I get paid to do this shit.
yeah.
But it's
I
like,
think
yeah, we're living a dream, man.
it's almost like becomes worse as you get older. You're like, I can drive that now. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Look at me
You're like,
now.
why are you using a front loader to put groceries inside? You're like, I just wanted to.
Dude, I swear I pinch myself all the time because I talk to my old, like 14-year-old self sometimes. I'm like, look what we're doing, buddy. like you didn't think this would be real, but we're doing it, man. I can't believe they're letting me do this shit.
Yeah. Who let me in here?
Those idiots. All
Hey,
right.
you're dumb. Let me do it.
So we're
Oh,
gonna get into the fun portion and the ending of our time today. And it is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I didn't create this, of course. It's a show that's been out on TV forever. But Alan Mick, my buddy who handed this show over to me, it was something he did, and I really liked it. So we're gonna continue the tradition.
oh
And
boy.
I did a little bit of research. Not a ton, but I had some fun digging a little bit because you went to Westchester
Yes.
University in Philadelphia. So we're going to dig into that a little bit and
Okay.
see how much you
Right.
know about old Westchester. All right.
Oh, not a lot, but we'll
Well,
see.
you're screwed then. All right. Question 1. In what year was the Westchester Academy transformed into Westchester Normal School? Is it A, 1812? Or is it B, 1869? Is it C, 1871? Or is it D, 1913?
1913. D.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
You want a lifeline or anything? You do get one. You can call whoever you want.
Is there harder questions after this?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me hold. I'm gonna hold the lifeline.
All right.
Yeah. You know what? Let's go with C because I cannot remember. B sounded the 9 at the end sounded kind of familiar, but I remember hearing that once and it escapes me.
So you're going to go to C?
Yeah, let's go with C for that. Give it the old college try.
Well, boom. Good thing you went to college for a year because you got it right. Dun, 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 1871. It's in
There we go.
fact the oldest institute of higher education in the entire state of Pennsylvania.
Wow.
You went to the
Wow.
oldest freaking school, bro. That's crazy.
I didn't even know.
Before you got your ass beat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, after. First, I went to Salisbury first. That's
Okay. Freaking, I love Salisbury steaks, man.
Oh yeah, they were not serving those that night, unfortunately.
Damn. All right, I got another pretty good one here. All right, this is actually pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. Who gave his last public lecture at Westchester University on February 1st, 1895, just a few days before he died? Is it A, Frederick Douglass, B, Abraham Lincoln, C. Harriet Tubman, or D. Susan B. Anthony, which those two are females, and they said his last public. Stupid Chat GPT screwed me on this one. So yeah, is it Frederick Douglass or Abraham Lincoln?
I'm gonna go with A, Frederick Douglass.
You're correct. I'm still learning.
Thank you, Chat.
Yeah,
if there was any other, I was not making it through that one if there was any other options. So,
all right. So let's see here. All right, here's a pretty goofy one or whatever. You might be able to get this one. Which campus area of Westchester University is listed on the National Register of Historic Places? Is it A, South Campus, B, East Campus, C, West Campus, or D, North Campus?
oh God. Is it A? Is it North Campus?
Yes.
That's what I'm going to go with, North Campus.
Yeah, you got it right. D. Which was like,
really?
they call it like the quadra, whatever over there. The quad. Meet me at the quad.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I always longboarded through there, but all of my classes were in all the STEM buildings, so I was rarely over there. A couple of like business classes over there.
That's cool.
Like that. So, but beautiful, beautiful over there. Great, crazy old buildings. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. All right, here's our final question for you.
All right.
What is Westchester University recognized for in the field of poetry? Is it A, free verse poetry, B, formal poetry, C, haiku poetry, or D, sonnet poetry?
Oh, Jesus. Haiku poetry.
Is that your final
that
answer?
Or free? It's that or free verse, I think. I don't think it's sonnet.
Do you want to reach out to anyone? This is your final question. You're almost going to be the first person to get them all right. You want to do a lifeline?
Yeah.
Do it. Let's do a lifeline. Just call someone on the phone and put them on speaker.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Hold on.
All right.
Let me see. Where did I put this thing? There we go. Like, where did I put my phone? All right. Let's see. Let's call. You know what? We're gonna hit Mike Hartley, the owner of our company.
Oh, sweet! I'm going to talk to him next, aren't I? In here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, if you'd
awesome.
like to,
I'd love to.
All right, let's see. He might be in a meeting. Do I get a second call if he doesn't answer?
You do.
Okay.
I'm going to really do some good research on him. I'm going to ask him some killers.
Please leave your message.
Oh, I can't believe it. This is the only time he's never answered the phone when I called. All right, wait. I got it. We're going to call. We're going to call one of our new estimators here, Sean. And it went right to voicemail. He's a good, hardworking man. He has his phone on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, man. He's drawn boundaries. Man, that's a good dude right there.
Yep. Thank God bless. That was
smart.
Last one. I got it. Maybe they just don't like me anymore. They're like,
they don't want to be a part of your ruse here.
Yeah.
They're like, we know he's on that damn show. We don't want to be on that damn show. It's like, who cares about commercial roofing?
Yeah. Nobody gives a shit.
It's like, I do. It's my life.
That's all I have. Oh my gosh. All right, last
so
one. I got it. Last one.
Yeah, last one. All right. I just drew the old Stussy thing. Look what I did, everybody.
Can I call you?
Oh, you jackass.
That would be cheating. All right, here's the last. This is my last shot here. And if he doesn't answer,
then you'll have to answer and maybe get it right. And then I'll send you a cute gift.
This is our director of operations. He's very smart, so he might know this. And he didn't answer. I think they're in meetings right now.
Yeah, they're probably all screw him.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, forget about him.
All right, I'm gonna re-ask it, and you can re-answer it at your chance of getting every one of the answers right. Surprisingly. All right, so here's the question again. What is West Chester University recognized for in the field of poetry? Is it A, free verse, B, formal, C, haiku, or D, sonnet poetry?
B, formal poetry.
Holy shit, you got it right, bro.
I did.
Wow. You've gotten every question right. I don't know if that's the first time. I'll have to check with Alan.
Oh my
but
Lord.
Yeah,
I can't believe that just happened. I thought I was gonna get every question wrong. So
well, you did good, man. Well, cool. We're going to wrap it up there, brother. But again, thank you. And please stay on while I stop this and it downloads. We'll still be able to chat a bit. But yeah, thanks again. And for you watching, everyone out there, if you think maybe you would possibly want to join the Dezigns Construction Inc. team, go check them out on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. Talk to my boy Dom here. He can give you, some really good advice. But they really are a great team that if you are looking to get into the commercial world of roofing, and you're on the East Coast, they might be a really good fit for you. So check them out. And again, this is Cam, this is Dom, and you are with the Commercial Roofing Radio today. Did I say that right? Commercial Roofing Radio. Thanks again, guys. Y'all take care.
Thank you.